The U.S. Department of Justice has applied to seize the Iranian oil tanker Grace 1. The British Overseas Territories Supreme Court was expected to announce the release of the vessel shortly. The decision's now been delayed until later on Thursday. The ship was seized off the coast of Gibraltar by British Royal Marines last month, with Iran accused of violating oil sanctions against Syria. It denied the allegations and labeled the seizure an act of piracy. Andrew Simmons is in Gibraltar. So what does all this mean, Andrew?
Well, Rochelle, it was just over half an hour ago I was in court and everyone was expecting the release of this oil tanker. Then dramatically, it has to be said, because the Attorney General, Michael Lamas, was quite ruffled. He told the judge that in the early hours of Thursday morning and late on Wednesday night, there had been contact with the Department of Justice in the US involving a document, involving requests, and a declaration that there will be, in these legal terms, a supplemental request of detention parallel to the existing detention.
Breaking news from overnight, that dramatic standoff in Philadelphia finally coming to an end after more than 7 hours. 6 police officers shot before the gunman was taken into custody. Gio Benitez is on the scene in Philadelphia this morning with the very latest. Good morning, Gio.
Hey, David, good morning. Yeah, just an incredibly scary situation for both residents and officers. Take a look behind me, because if you look closely, you can actually see all of those evidence markers there on the ground. That's because more than 100 bullets were fired here, residents jumping fences just to get away from all that gunfire. Overnight, a dramatic surrender. A raging gunman turning himself into police. Maurice Hill taken into custody, bringing a violent 7-hour tense standoff to an end in Philadelphia.
Give me SWAT ASAP. Long gun ASAP. I got an officer shot.
His surrender comes after gunfire rained down on police for hours. Gunshots hitting 6 officers. Bullets ricocheted off the sidewalk and nearby homes.
Shocking new video tonight of a journalist being attacked on the job. Surveillance video showing the man being accosted and forcibly removed from a public speaking event for none other than American Urban Radio Network's and CNN's April Ryan, who ironically is known to be a champion for press freedom. Watch this.
Hello to all of you parents. When I speak,
don't touch my camera, please.
When I speak, I do not have to. I don't have news covering my speech because
don't you dare put that down, sir. That's my camera.
I think this got to get out right now. How dare you come in here and interrupt this event like this? No, you get out of here right now. Get off of me! Get off! Please, please!
Calm down. I got pepper spray. Please help me.
Do you You deserve 10 times worse. You allowed that. Disgusting.
Good morning. You're looking in these images at London, Ontario, a neighborhood in the east end of that city, and the aftermath to an explosion late last night. Firefighters on the scene, police on the scene, first responders in large numbers hours after the explosion that destroyed homes. And you can see as we look at these pictures, they continue to put out hot spots in the aftermath to the explosion and fire that follow. Now, what we're hearing this morning as we begin on the story is confirmation from authorities that there are no deaths and no serious injuries as a result of what happened in that scene. But we have video to show you, first of all, of the immediate aftermath.
We heard the bang. We weren't sure what it was. Initially, I thought perhaps a train exploded because the tracks aren't too far from here. Pictures came off of our walls. The books came off of our bookshelf. And there was several other accelerants that you could hear going off, and you could hear almost like a siren sound, and we assume it was a propane tank or something that was going off.
Microplastics back in the news again this morning. The fact that they are tracking all the way up to the north, to the far north, and to the Northwest Passage. Researchers fear the extent of their spread is worsening. And John Northcott is here with some new research that's going to cause some concern today. John?
Yeah, indeed, Heather. This was an 18-day expedition through the Northwest Passage. Now, we know, of course, there is plastic in great profusion in the Pacific Ocean, and we know it's washing up on our beaches, but these are microplastics. So this is everything from paint to plastic that has deteriorated to the point where sometimes it is even smaller than can be detected even through the most precise scientific investigation. But here, a pristine northern wintry landscape. White snow. Could anything be more pure? Well, as it turns out, it's full of plastic.
It's the 16-year-old's first time sailing, and her one and only test run before she sets off across the Atlantic to America. But climate activist Greta Thunberg isn't too apprehensive.
It's not going to be comfortable, but that I can live with.
There are no showers or toilets on the high-speed racing boat. Those on board have to use a blue bucket. Solar panels and hydro generators will supply the electricity they need, and meals consist of freeze-dried packets of vegan food mixed with water. But having given up flying, the journey will allow Thunberg to attend UN climate change talks with a clear conscience. She's taken a year off school for a series of meetings in North and South America, travelling with the least carbon-intensive methods available.
The way we see the climate crisis has changed. I feel like people are taking this more urgently. People are starting to become more aware, slowly, but still. And so that's why I'm doing it.
Throwing household waste away in Shanghai is a lot more complicated than it used to be. Rubbish has to be sorted into several categories, including wet and dry. It's not optional, it's an order from the government, and it seems to have caught on quickly. At set times, people take their separated waste to bins that have been placed in communities around the city. The contents are then collected and taken for recycling, composting, or incineration for power generation. Businesses also have to abide by the new laws. If they don't, they could be fined up to $70,000. The motivation behind a program like this would be applauded by most, but there is also a sense that the government has missed a step out and that not enough emphasis is being placed on educating people how to reduce waste in the first place.
It may seem like a long way down the track, but Gladys Berejiklian has ambitions to bring a high-speed rail network to New South Wales. Cutting commute times by up to 75%, the government has already mapped out 4 potential routes, with the Premier travelling to Germany to see firsthand how well it works.
Somewhere between Munich and Berlin, the Premier picking up speed and a few tips on how to fix our trouble-plagued network back home.
Well, it's certainly much faster and much smoother and really cutting-edge technology.
The high-speed ICE Sprinter is a feat in German efficiency. 600 kilometres in under 4 hours, reaching speeds up to 300 kilometres an hour. It slashed travel time for commuters by a third.
Basically, we built a completely new stretch of track. Only by having such a completely new line built, we were able to really, straighten the line and achieve higher speeds.